Well, hello everyone. Hello. Welcome to Jolene's Happy Time Craftcast. I am excited to welcome you to the show today. I'm a broken record. I say it every time. I am so delighted to introduce you to today's guest and to give you a chance to get to know her better. She's had a real influence on my creative practice, and I am thrilled that she was able to be here today. But before I get to the specifics of the show, I just wanted to thank so many of you for being new subscribers on iTunes to Jolene's Happy Time Craftcast or finding us on Facebook Live. Wherever you are, thank you. I really, really appreciate it. We have so many great things going on here at Big Raven Farm, and at the midpoint in the show, I'll tell you more about that so we can focus more right now on Emilee. So if you have seen me do a live stream in the last, I don't know, few weeks, you have seen me use materials from Collage Soup. Emilee Stone is a self-taught mixed media artist with over 25 years of experience, and she is the creative force behind Collage Soup. Her passion grew into a hub, and she's got books and washi tapes. She's got die cuts, which I didn't know about. We'll have to talk more about that. And what she does is she creates these quirky collages, like I have Flower Power, Roundtable Fables. I have 2 or 3 more, and she's even got one called The Creative Heroine. So she inspires artists and crafters worldwide with her mixed media approach. And if you are on social media, you've probably seen her on TikTok. I've caught her on Pinterest. She's even come across my Amazon things you should buy thing. Like, yeah, good job, Bezos. You got my number. Like, absolutely 1000%. So I am so excited to welcome Emilee Stone from Collage Soup to the Happy Time Craftcast. There she is right there. Hi, Emilee.
Hi. That was so nice.
Oh, I
Thank
meant
you.
every word. I mean, my goodness, what you have created is so fun.
Thank
And
you.
we were just talking about it last night. My craft club meets the 3rd Tuesday of the month. And there were folks, everyone in my craft club has purchased a book or
Oh, wow.
gone to the website to take a look at your downloadable content. So,
Yes.
okay, so I said all of that stuff.
Yes.
How do you tell the world who you are and what you do? Like, what's your little elevator pitch?
My short elevator pitch
Yes.
is I make quirky stuff for makers and artists. So that's the very, very short phrase of it. But the
Right.
reality is that I do books, and like you said,
Mhm.
I've started to bring in some other products that I'm making exclusively for Collage Soup. So washi
Mhm.
tapes and die cuts and stickers, and I have a blind date with a collage box that's coming out. Another one, I had one for Valentine's Day that sold out like in a day. I was so shocked.
Okay,
So I
stop,
have
stop,
more.
stop. What?
Yeah.
Wait.
Yes.
Blind date with a collage box?
Yes.
Say
So
more. What is this? What is this? I must know.
I must know. It
I'm so
is,
excited.
it's basically the same as a blind date with a book, but
Okay.
you get a box and it has everything for you to make a collage. It's got a blind book, it's a book of mine that's not anywhere else except for in the
Okay.
box. It's
Okay.
got die cuts in it, it's got washi tapes in it, and then it's all around a theme. So like the Valentine's Day one was all around Valentine's Day. And then I have some others that are coming that are I have an artist-centric one, I have a birthday one, and then I have a spring one that's coming. And they have all kinds of little 3D elements and different types of paper that we like as collage artists, the washi
Mhm.
papers and mulberry papers and glassine and all of that kind of stuff in it. So
Oh
it's
my
fun.
gosh. Okay, so where can we find this?
It's
Because
so
everybody listening is going to want to buy it. So how do we buy it, and how do I get mine first?
okay. Well, I will make sure that you get one. Don't worry.
Well. Okay.
And they are, it's probably going to be about 2 weeks before the next one's available
Okay.
because I'm waiting on Amazon
Okay.
to do the printing for the
Mhm.
books, for the blind books, so to
Okay.
speak. And but the best way to follow along is my email,
Oh, okay, so
my
give me
newsletter.
Okay, so get on
Yes.
your list and I'll be sure to link that in the show notes, but we're going to
Yep.
collagesoup.com and
Yes.
we'll get people there. Okay, so back up. I got really excited about that. So let's back
Yep.
up to how, so 25 years of experience, but
Yes.
what happened that day, Emilee, where you were like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make these books. Like when did that strike and when did that happen?
So it was very specific day. It's so funny that you asked that question because I have a friend of mine who she's also an amazing mentor. Her name
Mhm.
is Ardith Goodwin, and she's an amazing artist. And she was working on a book, and I was helping her. And we were like, well, how does KDP work? And I said, you know what?
Oh,
I've been making these images for my collaging.
yeah.
I'll just put them in a book and we'll see how the whole process works.
Mhm.
So I put them in a book and not knowing what I was doing at all.
Mhm.
And I have 20 years of tech experience. I
Sure.
did customer service for technical support in tech companies.
Okay.
And so I said, well, let's try this and we'll see what happens. And so I put the book up. I
Yeah.
ordered a proof copy of it. And so we were like, okay, well, this is how it works. Well, it sort of started to sell. And
So
I was shocked.
so the language that you are using is Amazon KDP, right?
Yes, yes,
Uh,
sorry.
Kindle Direct Publishing?
Yes,
Okay.
it's their on-demand publishing arm of the
Okay.
company.
Okay, so
Yes.
on-demand publishing, and you were just kind of dabbling, and eureka, an idea took its bite and
Yes.
landed. Okay.
Yes.
So how long ago was that?
That was in July of 2023.
Oh my goodness, you're a baby. I did
Yes.
not realize that. Oh
Yes.
my gosh, I'm like, congratulations.
Thank you.
I I just assumed from
Mhm.
the prolific way that I see you, like I said, I see you everywhere,
Yep.
that I had kind of thought you had been, doing the hustle for a really long time. But
Yeah.
congratulations, that's so great. So
Thank you.
how many volumes do you have now?
So I have 68 on Amazon, and then I have
Really?
about, yes, which
What?
it's 68 and it's a lot. It's a lot. Like if you go to my website and you go into the paperbacks and you start
Yeah,
scrolling through, it's overwhelming. So I'm always trying to think of ways to reorganize because it's
sure.
just overwhelming. And
Okay,
then I have about the same number of ebooks, and
okay,
some of them are crossovers. So like
okay.
Fei Fi Fi Fo Fum, which is all fairies
Mhm,
and that sort
mhm,
of genre,
mhm.
is available as an ebook as well as a paperback book.
I
So
got you. Okay,
yeah.
so just in case our listeners don't know what the heck we're talking about.
Yep.
So the books are like I describe them as collage fodder.
Yep.
And I use them when I am collaging and primarily, my interest is in a focal point, and so
Hmm.
my process typically, it's when I'm collage is my favorite thing to do when I am feeling stuck
Yep.
and I'm just not ready for or maybe I'm in between one of my great big projects because 'cause I'm sure
Yes.
you know how crazy big my projects can be. They can take up to a month.
Yep.
So, I like to, like, kinda cleanse the palette with a little collage, and
Hmm.
so my process is I keep all of my jelly plate print kinda
Nice.
catalogs where I'm
Yep.
cleaning my brayer or I don't quite get anything that I'm really going for, like ghost prints and whatnot, and I keep
Hmm.
a great big stack. And then I cut them down so that they're all the same size. I put the wrong sides together, almost like
Hmm.
fabric, so that every side has something, and then I'm
Right.
ready. So I've got my substrate, and my process is I've got that background, I pick a focal point, I pick a sentiment, and then I stabilo all or keep adding. But
Yeah.
Collage Soup for me, the fodder, the books, are such a great way to find what I'm looking for. Because I think
Hmm.
for me, when you're piecing together collage, the digging can be fabulous or frustrating,
Yeah.
right?
Mostly frustrating.
Right, mostly
Yeah.
frustrating because you can't
Yep.
find what you're looking for.
Yep.
And with Collage Soup books, I love the thematic way that they're organized. Like
Mhm.
Flower Power, Emily, is
Yep.
my favorite. I
Oh,
love
good.
Flower Power so much. I
Thank
love
you.
Round Table Fables too and
Mhm.
Cityscapes, but I really love Flower Power. But anyway,
Okay.
So maybe I'm looking for a flower. I cut it out, add it to my collage, grab from my sentiment bin, and whiz bang boom, I got a little something.
Yep.
So it's just, and the colors, like the colors are vibrant and the
Mhm.
paper holds up. And like, I love your product so much and I use it
Thank you.
all the time.
Oh, thank you. I got when I first started with KDP, Amazon's
Mhm,
KDP, I
mhm.
was like, okay, I'm going to try this on a really inexpensive paper and I'm
Oh,
going to keep the price point down. I did not like it when I got
right.
it. I was like, it's more newsprint, which I love newsprint. Don't get me wrong, there's a
Sure. It
place
has,
for it.
yeah.
But for my collage fodder, for focal point images in particular, I wanted a nicer paper. So I chose the nicer paper, the more vivid
Mhm.
printing process from them, and it's more expensive. So the books, hence, are more expensive than a lot of the collage books that are out there. But it's because the paper and the printing process are
You
better.
You
Yeah.
can you can tell when you're cutting them apart, like, you can
Yeah.
tell that they've got durability, and
Yeah.
when I'm cutting, I've never, because you know how sometimes when like, I've got other collage books, like,
Mhm.
that I've bought from Amazon or have been given as a gift, and I love those too, but if you don't have your scissors at their exact right angle, you can rip the
Yes.
page and
Yes.
kind of destroy what you weren't trying to get. And my collage soup books, that doesn't happen. Like I don't damage anything on my way to what I'm trying to get because what I've learned from the collage soup books is I used to like I love to fussy cut. I'm kind of a great big
Yep.
weirdo that way. Anybody
I do
else
too.
love to
Me.
fussy cut? I
Yeah.
love it. Sometimes in the car, I'll just bring a scissors and cut. I love
Yep.
it.
Yep.
And then I would organize them. And, someday, Emily, if you ever make voyage to Big Raven Farm for a retreat,
Okay.
I will show you the inner sanctum of my crazy brain because my folders for collage are, black and white images with feet, black and white
Oh,
or color
interesting.
images without feet. Or, like I am so granular because sometimes like I'll have a vision of I want to put a man on the moon and he's got to have feet. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I can just go to they have feet or they don't have feet. But anyway, I'm looking and digging and searching all the time. And
Yep.
what I learned from my collage soup books is I love grabbing something by the theme and then
Hmm.
I only cut out what I'm going to use. So I always know where to go and find it. That has been
Yes.
like the greatest gift you've given me is
Oh, thanks. Well, it's funny because that's how my brain works is
Mhm.
thematically. It's like I
Yeah.
may pick a sentiment or something as well, or an inspiration
Mhm.
or something. But then thematically, I'm like, okay, I want fairies or I want,
Right.
whatever it is, weird things,
Yes.
which
Yes.
I love the weird and the quirky more than anything.
Me
So, yeah.
So
So,
tell me then a little bit about, okay, so you create these books, but tell me a little bit about how you feel about like favorite mediums, favorite techniques,
mhm,
favorite processes when you're not basically being a book editor or a publisher.
yes. I am a mixed media artist first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
So I love to um, paint and
Yeah.
acrylics primarily.
Mm-hmm.
I also love to use charcoal and acrylics together, which I know sounds sort of counterintuitive, but I love the process of,
Sounds like you did it
making that
right.
mark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then, you spray it to, keep
Mm-hmm.
it. But that mark that it makes, something about that mark I adore,
That's awesome.
So, and I get in things, I get into things like edges, like the edges of things, everything has to come off the edge for me.
Okay.
It's very hard for me to stay contained within a surface.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like lots of images within the books are also on the edge or they're cut in half or something.
Yeah.
And the reason is because that's how I like them,
Yeah.
and I think that it stretches us to think in terms of outside of that, 12 inch by
Mhm.
12 inch or whatever size, surface you're working on
Mhm.
and look at what's going on out here that the person who is experiencing the piece
Mhm.
is
Mhm.
seeing in addition, so what's the story?
Oh,
So
sure. Your
Yeah.
interviews are so good at raising that question,
Yes.
what is
Yes.
the story? So are you able to make every day? Are you an everyday maker?
Almost.
Yeah.
Almost. I have given myself permission this month, just this
Mhm.
month, to do this little tiny, um,
Oh, I love it.
it's just it's just anything. It's like washi tape, it's scribbles,
Mhm.
and the whole point of it is every day if I get in and I do not give myself any, oh, it has to have a certain composition or it has to have a
Sure,
certain
sure.
color or whatever, and I don't
Yep.
give myself any of those things.
You're
I
just
just
being free. Mhm.
Yep. Cut, stick, mark, whatever
Mhm.
is gonna happen, I do that on it. So that I've been trying to do every day to at least work out some of the, like, anxiety that I get around not creating, because if I had my druthers, I would spend 10 hours a day just painting and collaging, you know?
I am right there with you. I
Yeah.
I totally agree. In fact, I was talking with a handful of friends yesterday. So yesterday I snapped at my spouse over
Mhm.
something that was stupid. And honestly, I don't usually do that. I am not like he's my best friend and I don't treat him poorly because I love him and
Yeah.
I don't act that way, but yesterday I did. Like I just got sassy about nothing. And then
Yep.
I was talking to a couple of more friends yesterday and they were like they did the same thing. They fussed at their
Mhm.
husband because the coffee order was wrong or they fussed at their husband over something completely insignificant. And
Yep.
so we got talking about full moon and
Mhm.
how, some people don't believe that that's really a thing. And then one of my friends said, if the moon can affect the tide of the ocean, it can
Yes.
certainly affect a person, you know.
Yes.
But
Yes.
but so that was rolling around in my brain, as well as I've been so busy in the businessy side of business
Mhm.
that I haven't been in my workshop for probably a week.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
Right? And
Yeah.
so I'm a little bit grouchy. I'm a little
Yes.
bit grouchy because I'm not getting out my what would that be called? Patience, temperament, the ability to have wiggle room and give grace.
That
Like,
little yeah, that little whatever that we get that we have to create.
yes,
Yes.
yes. And
Yes.
in fact, I was saying yesterday that, like, as an artist and a maker, I
Mhm.
feel called. Like, I
Yep.
am called to my creativity in such a way that I'm not whole, complete, full,
Mhm.
balanced without it.
Yep.
Just like some people are called to religion or exercise or whatever, I am
Mhm.
called to this. And
Yes.
it's always very validating to talk to other people who who have the call.
Yes.
Like I think you're among friends that we get it. Like we
Yes.
absolutely get it.
Yes. It
So
is, and it's like it gets like I do this, but it's,
I know what
it
you mean by that.
it gets itchy and scratchy and
Mhm,
you just
mhm.
feel like out of sorts when you're
Yeah,
not creating or not
yeah.
being creative, whatever that is. It's so interesting. And
Isn't it?
it is. And, I saw an interview with a researcher, some sort of, sociologist or something. I don't know what it was the other day. And they were talking about creativity. And they
Mhm,
were talking about how people, even if all you're doing is, writing a paragraph, doodling on a post-it
mhm,
note, making a meal, something creative, how that combats anxiety so much.
mhm.
And I was like, yeah, it really does. It
I
really does.
I completely subscribe to that feeling for sure because I can track that pattern, in
Yep.
my own life. And I'm sure those around me could probably track it as well.
Yep.
Um, so tell us a little bit about then, so how do you get from the concept to the actual fodder? And like what has that process been like for like let's take flower power for example since that's
Sure.
my favorite. So how did you like what was the seed? What seed got planted that led to the book Flower Power Collage Fodder? Like how did that happen?
It was something I needed for collage. I
Nice.
mean, it was just something that I was like,
Yes.
I need some flowers. I need to make something that has, some central points in it.
Yes.
And and most of the books are like that. It's like I'm
Mhm.
trying to make something myself.
Right.
And so I go looking for the images. And, in this case, I'm making the images using AI just to be completely, forward about it.
Sure.
But it's it's all because I'm looking for something.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, I do that all the time. I have a problem, have to come up with a solution, and it's very
Hmm.
kind of you to share that solution with the rest of us because
Yep.
books are amazing. Just,
Thank
with
you.
those of us here live, curious, how many of you have a collage soup book or have seen me use a collage soup book? Because I'm just very curious. Because, like I said, I feel like I see you everywhere, which is delightful. Because I'm like, oh, I know her.
Oh, you're
And I've
so
got like
sweet.
this secondary pride where I'm just like, this is so
Hmm.
exciting. Okay, so you needed that, and so you made the flowers. So of the 68 collections, then Emilee, which one is your favorite?
My personal favorite is I Need This in My Life, which is
Ooh,
that's the name of the book, is I
I
Need
don't
This in
know
My
this one.
Life.
I don't know this one. Okay, tell
It's
us.
it's a book of each page has four ATC sized, artist trading card size
Mm-hmm.
images on it. And they're just a whole range of different types of images. So
Mm-hmm.
there's everything from, quirky ladies to just random cats and dogs and things like that. And so I find that one I go to a lot because I if I'm creating small, like I create a
Yeah,
lot on a 4x4, I always
sure.
create almost in squares almost exclusively. That's
Okay.
just my thing. um and so those that size happens to work really well. Plus, when you fussy cut out of it, it fits
Mhm.
perfectly on an ATC.
Right,
So that's
exactly.
my
So
favorite book.
ATC, artist trading card, if you're not familiar, it's a
Yes,
whole subculture of our culture.
it
Like
is.
there's a whole lot you can do there. There are like swaps and exchanges, and you can
Yes.
be involved in groups and you make, they're trading cards of little pieces of
Mhm.
art that have been around
Yes.
forever. Super fun if you love working in miniature and also
Mhm.
if you kind of enjoy the process of the trade. I think
Yep.
that is really, really, really cool.
Yeah,
Um,
it's fun.
okay, so your favorite is Because I Need This?
It's called I Need This in My
I
Life.
need this in my life. Okay, I need this
Yes.
in my life. We will
Yes.
definitely be sure to like link that in the show notes.
Okay.
You
Thank
did
you.
happen to say that you have something very special for the listeners of the Happy Time Craftcast,
Oh,
which
yeah.
I think was so, so generous and really, really kind. I'll let you tell them about it because it's go ahead. The
Okay.
discount
Well, it's just a 30% discount
just 30,
for,
Emily, like
yeah,
just
well,
usually it's like, just 10, but like just 30 is like,
yeah.
woo, very
Well,
exciting.
I will be honest with you. I am very much about making sure artists have stuff
Sure.
in their repertoire.
Yeah.
So there are a bunch of books on the site that are $1.99, and
Wow.
they're still 80 pages or 100-page books
Right.
because I want people to have those basics, their colorways, things like that. I want them to have those basics in their fodder.
Very
So
generous.
I'm very much want people to have, whatever that they can afford and so that's how I do it. So it's 30% discount.
Okay. Do they need
And
a code or anything?
there is a code. Yes. I
Okay.
believe it is Happy Craft Cast 30,
It
which you would
is.
put
Let me double check that. Happy Time Craftcast
Happy Time Craft
30.
Cast
Here, I
30.
will put it in I'll put it in the show notes for sure, but I'll
Okay.
also put it here so that everyone can see it and grab it.
Okay, yes, and it'll work on the website for ebooks, not for
Mhm.
paperbacks. So there's a thing with Amazon. Amazon doesn't
Oh,
allow
sure.
discounts, but for any of the ebooks, and I believe the ephemera as well. So any of the washi tapes or the die cuts, the little paper
Right.
bites that we have. Yeah.
Well, thank you. That's very, very,
No.
very generous and very, very exciting. So I'm
Cool.
going to use my I'm going to use my discount today. I'm very excited. So thank
Oh, cool.
you.
Yeah, well, I hope people will use it for the $1.99 books too, because then, it's 30 cents basically, or 60
Mhm.
cents, whatever I can't do math.
Sure.
But and then they just have, tons and tons of stuff. And let me say, please download it and keep it local for you.
Oh,
You don't want to keep it in our system because sometimes we retire books, and when we retire a book, it goes away, and then we can't get it back
mhm,
to you.
mhm.
So, and don't print them all at the same time. I've had wonderful, sweet ladies print, 6, 7, 8 books at a time, and it's hundreds and hundreds of pages, and their printers run out of ink.
Oh, right. Well,
Yes.
we had yesterday, my friend Kathy, she got a download and
Mhm.
she took it to Staples
Yes,
for
that's something that people.
24 cents.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, to print like whatever the color,
Yeah.
like whatever that was.
Oh,
Um,
that's a great price.
Yeah, and so she was really excited about that. I mean, I just I think I can't really tell if more and more folks are coming to collage or if I'm just aware now that more people
Mhm,
are into it. Like I'm not really sure where the trend is on that. Doesn't
mhm.
really matter. I just know for myself I love it. And
Yep.
if you are you familiar with my friends over at Strawberry Moon magazine?
I'm not.
Okay,
Do
so
I need to be, it sounds like,
oh,
though.
yes, you do. Yes, you do. Because in
Okay.
fact, my work was published in there in this last episode, and I credited you, because
Aw,
I used Collage Soup fodder in some of my collage.
thank
But
you.
Strawberry Moon Magazine, the editor and publisher is Suzanne Early, and this magazine, and friends, thank you for your patience because I talk about it all the time because I love it. So Strawberry Moon Magazine is for visual journaling, art journaling, like whatever you want to call what you put down in a book. And
Yep,
Suzanne has been on the show and she says anything in a book counts, right? Like
yep,
however you want to do it. Like the border of the game is it's a book.
yep.
And in Strawberry Moon, it is like full tutorials, how-tos and demonstrations, but then there's also a gallery and there
Ah,
are thematic a thematic description of an episode or an issue, excuse me.
mhm.
And so the one that just came out, it was like can't remember for sure, but I know the one coming up is words. And you can submit to the gallery, you can submit your artwork to be a tutorial. But I mention it, Emily, because you've been in there through my
How
work.
fun. Thank you.
It's awesome. It's such a, I look forward to, oh, and it's printed on the most juicy, robust paper. Um,
Okay.
and it's not really a magazine like a People or an Us Weekly. It is like
Sure.
you keep it on your coffee table
Sure,
um,
sure.
because it's so beautiful. So I'll
Okay.
be sure to connect you guys because you
Please
should
do.
know
Would
about it.
love to do something together. I love doing collaborations with folks.
Mhm.
So that is something that,
Well, and even you should like submit your artwork, and
oh,
I think
okay.
that would be cool. I'll show you how to do it.
Okay. Fun.
So, all right. So you did happen to share with me too that so you said charcoal and acrylic, and
Yes.
then you also mentioned that you tend to make a mess.
I do make a mess.
Yeah.
Everything is covered in, I have a rug down on the floor. It's got paint splatters all over it. There's, my easels back there. I have all the shelves with every kind of possible, you know,
Yeah. Potion.
oh my goodness, it's
Mhm,
ridiculous. And papers and, just stuff that we
mhm.
think we need, which I
Yeah,
love.
me
But
too.
I make a serious mess. Like
So do I.
my table right now in the center of my studio is covered in stuff. And my daughter came in here and she's like, I wanted to paint. I'm like, It's not going to happen in here, you know? And
Right?
then, and my clothes usually always have paint splatters on them. And I have a really good friend. She's so funny. She is also a painter and she always has pants. Her pants are always covered in paint. It doesn't matter. And,
Yes.
we laugh when we see each
Mhm.
other because we're just a
In it.
mess.
Right?
Yeah, we're
In
just
it
in
and
it. Yeah,
living it, I get that. Um,
yeah.
somebody had commented on one of my TikTok videos. They said that I always have paper in my hair or scraps of like debris and whatnot. And I am sure they're not wrong. Like I am sure
That's
there's
hilarious.
there's always stuff in there somewhere. So yeah, absolutely. I I try though to I try to reset. Like I'm really trying when I am
Mhm.
either, it's not always when I'm just done working in my workshop. Usually it's so late and I'm starving and all I'm thinking about is getting home and either feeding myself or myself and my dog. And so I just kind of tend to like dump and run.
Yeah.
But I do try to start with a good reset because sometimes I look at the mess and I just can't make anything.
Yes,
Does that happen to
absolutely.
you? Like I just
Oh, absolutely.
like
It's like you walk in and you go, "Where do I even start?
right.
Where do I even start?"
I
Yeah.
just start by cleaning.
Yeah, which is the last thing you wanna do when
Right?
you're, like, in that moment. You wanna
Mhm,
create, and so it's
mhm.
like, I'll throw stuff around and it'll get more messy because
Yeah,
I just wanna glue something, or I just wanna paint something, or, just leave me alone to this, and, yeah, so it's I can have a serious mess.
yes.
Yes.
Sonia, yes. I
Creating chaos,
yes.
yes.
Yeah, I if you saw my so this is like, I don't know, we've been doing this now over a year. So one of my very first episodes, I had my spouse on um,
Mhm.
to talk about what is it like living with someone like
Oh,
me.
interesting.
And so I
Oh.
had my mom and my husband as some of my first guests. I should have my kids. That would be fun too.
Yeah.
But like what I asked him was like, what is it like to live with a creative person who is always churning and spinning and
Mhm.
always coming up with ideas? And in fact, like our favorite party trick is for me to say, I have an idea. And then he'll put his fingers in his ears and be like, la, 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 and he'll just a big show of how much he doesn't want to hear my big idea. But he will
Yeah.
also admit that these ideas are quite often what, move things along. But
Yep.
he has this theory, it's called the Muppet theory, and
Okay.
he believes there are chaos Muppets and order Muppets. And
Mm.
you can't have two chaos Muppets, like you can't have Animal and Animal, and you
Yep.
can't have Ernie and Ernie. You have Bert and Ernie because you need
Yep.
chaos and order. So he's not wrong.
I was gonna say that's a great analogy.
Yeah, it is. And like back in the day, I used to get mad at him for like bringing up this Muppet theory because I thought I was being insulted by being
Mhm.
described as a chaos Muppet, meaning that I just like spin and make a mess wherever I go,
Mhm.
which isn't exactly true because I'm very organized and I do love order and process. And
Yep.
one of my bits of magic is that I'm good at breaking down complicated processes and making them a little bit more simple. So
Yep.
I was so offended by this like swirling animal thought that I had in my brain. But
Yeah.
now when I think about it, he's absolutely right. And I think for me, a word is probably energy as well, right? Like
Mhm. Mhm.
I am energy and ideas, and he is logic and like execution of those ideas.
Yeah,
Because
my husband too.
okay,
Yeah.
right. If
Yeah.
I said we need to paint this room, I would say, oh, and that one, and that one, and that one. And he'll say, no, 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 one from beginning until end, and
Yep.
then maybe something new. So it sounds like you have this order person
Yes.
too, right? Balance.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, very much. He's very logical. He's in high tech, and so he likes databases, spreadsheets,
Sexy.
really, complicated things,
Mhm,
but he likes
mhm,
structure. And
mhm.
so the two of us just end up working. I don't know how sometimes, but we really
Right,
do. We've
right.
been together now 30 years. So
Aw.
yeah, so it just works. So I understand where you're coming from.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely. In fact, I tell I tell my daughters, like, you might be like the drummer is sexy, right?
Yep.
Who doesn't love a dirty drummer? Like, I love a dirty drummer, but you marry the nerd. Like, you
Yes.
marry like nerds rule the world, in my opinion.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
I sure love mine.
Mine too.
So
Mine too. And
well,
it's funny, all of my friends, well, I live in Silicon Valley. So,
I'm sure.
everybody is in tech, it seems like. So,
Mhm.
I have all these creative friends whose husbands or partners,
Right.
whatever,
Yes.
are, these techie guys
Yeah.
or techie gals. And it's so interesting because there is that, interesting energy that it brings to a relationship. But it's
I
fantastic. Yeah.
agree. I agree. I'm glad you've got such great support. And I just am so happy for, like, I'm happy for you, Emilee, and all of these
Thank
things that
you.
have unfolded because, you saw a need and you fixed it. And now the rest of us get to really enjoy that and play with it. And I love your product. I love it so much. And I certainly talk about it and use it all the time. So you have a big, big, big fan in me.
Oh, thank you. I always get so overwhelmed, kind of like, oh my gosh, people like it. You know what I mean? It's like, because for years and years, I was selling my paintings, and you sell a painting, right? You don't sell 20 paintings, you sell a painting. And so it's not the same when somebody, they love my painting, but it's one painting. And then when, you have 20 people say, oh, I love your work, I'm like, it's so weird. It's so weird.
It's so true. Like we have all been having like so much fun. And I'll remind everyone listening too that so the discount code at collagesoup.com is
Mhm,
Happy Time Craftcast 30.
mhm.
And Emilee is encouraging you to use it on even the $1.99s
Yep.
to kind of move those along.
Yep.
And her favorite is oh my gosh, I need this. Help
I
me write.
need this in my life.
I need this
Yes.
in my life. I need
Yeah.
this in my life. I love that. I need this.
Right. Which is a paperback. So it's on Amazon.
Okay, not a discount on that one.
Yep,
'Cause
not a discount on that one. But that one, that one is pretty, it's below $20, I think.
okay, okay,
Yeah. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
yeah.
Okay, well, everybody make sure you remember that, and I'll be sure to put it in the show notes and all those things so we don't lose
Yeah.
track of it. And on
Thank
behalf
you.
of all of us, Emilee, thank you. That's very,
Thank
very,
you.
very generous for sure. Um,
Thank you.
so before we get to kind of like our last little segment where I have a bunch of questions to ask you,
Sure.
I do want to make a few announcements about what's going on here at Big Raven Farm. So I have all but one sales page done for all of the retreats that are happening in 2025. The last one that I'm going to get it done today. It is on the list. But all of them are done. I just added crochet yesterday. So
Ooh.
if you are all familiar and Tamara Kelly, the editor of Moogly, the Moogly blog, she and I are collaborating on a retreat called Cozy Stitches, and we're going to be doing crochet in the fall. And I've been crocheting for years, but we're doing some stuff that's new. So tapestry crochet, which I don't know what that is, so I'm excited to learn that. We're also going to do crochet applique and crochet cross stitch. And then we're also going to be adding in a crochet swap. So we'll all be making a little something. And then we're going to trade them up, and then you can make a bigger something from all of the little things you collect. So very excited about that one. And that one is happening in the fall here at Big Raven Farm.
Sounds so fun.
I know, right? I am so
Yes.
excited. And then, of course, we have Suzanne Early from Strawberry Moon Magazine. She and I are collaborating on a visual journal retreat, and that one is in October. Molly Anthony and I are collaborating in April, and that too is a visual journal. And then I have lots of pick your own projects where you get to pick from a great big list of my projects, and then I will coach you through those. Barb and I are collaborating on miniatures. So Barb is going to be teaching us how to like make new envelopes out of garbage and
Ooh.
collage fodder. And she's even got this really great idea for making a date book that you carry around, like just so so amazing. So I encourage you to look at those sales pages. And I mean, it's a good problem to have. We're selling retreats every day. So maybe in the past, you kind of, if you sat on it for a while and just kind of waited for things to flesh out, I don't know that I would encourage you to do that this time. This is, our fourth year. And so more folks know about us, and there's only 14 spots per time. So if you are thinking about it, I would encourage you to go take care of that while spots still exist. So there's all of that. I'll link it in our show notes, of course, but it's bigravenfarm.com and then retreats. And then there's a whole list of like 26. So I appreciate you all taking a look. Thank you.
Cool. They
Uh,
sound fabulous.
Oh, it is. It's so exciting. It's so exciting. And, oh, and I forgot to say too, we've got 2 cooking retreats. So our
Oh,
in-house
wow.
chef is leading 2 cooking retreats, and 2 or 3. And I'm so proud of all the work he does there. It's amazing. So please, please check those out. I appreciate you and love you for that. Okay. So now back to Emilee and the questions that I ask everybody. And now
Okay.
please, you can one word answer, you can elaborate. It just gives us a chance to get to know you even better. So,
Okay.
Emilee, what is your favorite word? They're very serious questions.
I'm sorry. The word that came up in my head was snack. And I do
Oh,
not know why that word. It is
nice.
not the word of the year for me, though. So I
Sure.
chose a word of the year, which is dream,
Oh, that's a
because I I dreamed about having a publishing company for many, 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 many years. Never considered it would be something that I would be able to do. And so
Mhm.
this is sort of my dream.
Yeah.
So dream is my word, but snack is what came into my mind. So
I
go
love that.
figure.
So as long as we're here,
Yes.
side question, do you have a favorite snack?
Right now I have been on this wasabi pea. They're dried peas, with the
They're
wasabi
fabulous
on
with
them.
the white stuff on the outside.
Yes, I
Yes,
love those things. And
I
a
do.
good Diet Coke on the side. Yeah,
Oh, so you're a Diet Coke girl.
I am.
You are a crazy group of people.
Yes,
Do you
yes.
have those rules about like who has the best fountain Diet Coke and all
Oh,
of that?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Is it Chipotle or McDonald's?
You know what? I'm a fan of Chipotle.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
See,
yeah.
I know your people. Like I know of you. From I used to be, it's crazy, when I was in grad school, I was a Diet Pepsi person.
Yep.
And then I became a Diet Coke person, and I was a Diet Coke person for years. Like
Mhm.
very loyal. I would have to go through the drive-through, ice to the top.
Yep.
Chipotle's is the best. McDonald's isn't too bad, far behind,
Yep.
but I couldn't really get it anywhere else. And now I haven't drank soda in like years and years and years. And what's so funny is like after you leave it, this probably
Mhm.
won't happen to you, but it tastes weird. Like
It does taste weird.
yeah, like once you don't
Yeah.
do it anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I used to be in the party, so I know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and then if you go like to Europe or something, it tastes different,
Mm,
right? So
yes.
then you come home after you've been there a while and you go, wait a second, this isn't the same
Mhm,
it's weird. Yeah.
definitely. Well, I when you said like favorite snack and then you said right now, I'm with you there because my favorites jump. Like they
Yep.
have kind of times and seasons. Right
Mhm.
for the craziest reason, I am in a Sour Patch Kid phase. In
Ah.
my whole life, I've never liked candy. I mean, I
Yep.
like chocolate, but I don't like
Sure.
candy,
Yeah.
like a Sour Patch Kid or a Skittle. I mean, gross. Like if it's not
Yeah.
chocolate, I don't really want it. However, I've now been buying Sour Patch Kids by like the big bag, and my
Wow.
favorites are the Giants, and the Giants have 2 flavors in one. So like
Oh.
half will be red. It's magic. I just
The funny thing is that you're not a candy person, but somehow you tried it and then
Mhm.
you decided, "Oh, this is good."
Yes, I am a candy person. I probably
That's
have them in my
hilarious.
pockets right now because I walk by the candy jar and I just, like, let them, roll around in my pocket all sugary and stuff.
Yeah,
But yeah, totally changed, totally changed my
that's
life.
hilarious.
Alright, so back to you. So then do
Yep.
you have a least favorite word?
At least for snack.
It's a blessing and a curse,
It
right?
is a blessing and a curse. That's because in that is I when I was a kid, so
Mhm.
I'm gonna digress a little bit here.
Yes,
When I
please.
was a kid, like
Mhm.
4 or 5 years old, my aunt, she would say, "It's time for snack." And I would be like, "Okay, well, that's cool," except for there was a time for snack. You couldn't just be hungry and go grab a snack. You had
Oh,
to, like,
wait,
partake when
right,
she offered it, yes. And so
yes.
I had a lot of issues with the word snack for many years.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, well, so my childhood memory about that is
Mhm.
the neighbor Lisa. Lisa, if you're listening, I have remembered this my whole life. I would go over to Lisa's house, and Lisa had a snack drawer.
Ooh.
Yeah, we didn't have a snack drawer in my
No,
house.
we didn't either.
No, and in the drawer, it would be like a Reese's peanut butter cup or a Kit Kat,
Mhm.
like, just, like, stuff that as a young kid, I was like, "Oh my god, you have this in your house?" Like, I
Yeah.
was so envious because you would open that drawer, and I would just it was like a treasure trove of, like
Yes.
and my parents didn't do that, like, we didn't have
No.
that stuff, and I don't think it was for any, like, philosophical reason. I just
Mhm.
don't think my mom and dad, like, thought that way, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
I think about Lisa's snack drawer once a week.
That's so funny. Yeah, I think about my Aunt
Mhm.
Sherry often because, she would it was snack time.
Yep,
Yeah.
interesting. Isn't that funny how that, like, sticks with us, like,
Yes.
who knows why?
Yep.
Okay, so another super serious question. What is the best kind of sandwich?
Oh, that's a good
Oh,
one.
you have a good answer.
So, I
I can
do
tell
have an
already.
answer.
Yes.
So, toasted
Yes.
toast with brie
Yes.
and fig jam
Yes.
and sliced green apples.
Oh my gosh, you've just blown my mind because my favorite book is by Prue from the baking show. She has a book called
Mhm.
Toast, and
Yes.
I love toast, is my favorite food.
Yes.
And I'm sure I have all of those ingredients on hand.
Yes.
That sounds
It
amazing.
is
So
fabulous.
so Emily, tell me, what kind of bread or doesn't it matter? Like, you gonna use any bread?
I use a sourdough sometimes, like a nice sourdough slice, and occasionally I use Dave's bread,
Any bread,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
six seed
Mhm.
or whatever that is,
Dave's
and you
Killer.
you
Mhm.
yeah, you toast it, you put the cheese in there, you put the fig jam, you put the apples, and then you put it on the stove and in a
Yeah.
broiler and you toast it a little bit. Oh my gosh, the cheese melts a little bit. It's so yummy.
I think sandwiches and toast are like the best food. Like,
Yeah.
I love them so much because in Peru is my favorite recipe is it's brie, arugula,
Ooh.
blackberries, and
Ooh.
you squirt it with spicy duck sauce.
Yum. Yeah,
Uh-huh,
I'd have to try
uh-huh.
that. I might
It's
have to try
so
that
good. It's
cookbook.
so good. Well, and sometimes, like, if we don't have brie on hand, I'll just
Mhm.
what we do, like, usually we have, like, Laughing Cow or something, spreadable,
Yeah.
works just as well. The critical element is the arugula, the spicy squirt of the duck sauce, and the blackberry. Like, if you have those 3, the other 2, like the bread and the cheese, you can kinda,
Yeah.
fudge a little
Fudge
bit.
on. Yeah.
Mhm. But I will link this book in the show notes because if you don't have this book, friends, you need it because it is
Yes.
so good.
Yum. Yeah, I love that kind of stuff.
Me too.
Yum.
Well, and with, just the 2 of us at home too,
Yeah.
I love how toast can be a meal. Like, we don't need to
Yes.
go, crazy. So,
Yeah.
I bring it up because it's a passion.
Yes, understood. I love that. Love
Awesome.
it.
I love your answer. I'm gonna try it today because I know I have all those things on hand.
Okay.
Alright, so do you believe that there is a scary animal? And if so, what is the scariest animal?
Real or imagined?
Oh my gosh, either? You're the first person to say that. I kinda wanna know the imagined one.
So real, no, I think that animals, I mean, there are animals like snakes and things like
Yeah.
that, like the whole continent of Australia, and I'm sorry, Australia, but the whole continent of Australia freaks me out between the snakes and the different
Wombats,
animals and yeah,
eagles,
just oh my
yes.
goodness.
Mhm.
Um, so there's those, but they're animals. There's reasons for the way
Yeah.
that they act the way that they do.
Mhm.
But imagined animals, that when you're 5 and you're looking in the forest and you see eyes looking back at you, that's scary.
Agreed.
That's sort of, and there's, oh my gosh, my daughter made me watch this YouTube video here a couple years ago about I don't know what it was about, to be honest. It was like aliens or something, but it had like these scary animal Sasquatch things in it. And I'm like, I can't now. I'm like,
Oh
that is not.
I
So
just love
yes.
that you said real or imagined. You are my
Yeah.
first guest to ever say that because
Yeah.
and you're so my son Jack, for years and years and years and years, he believed in a chupacabra.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is, but he believed that there were these things, and I
Mhm.
would have to stuff blankets on the side of his bed so that
Yes.
the chupacabra couldn't, come up.
Yeah.
Right, right,
Yep.
and get into his dreams or into his life,
Yep.
and it was years and years and years of us dealing with the chupacabra, and I don't for the life of me, I can't remember how it got into his little imagination,
Yeah.
but I did make him an art piece
Oh my
to
goodness.
celebrate his imagination. I did it a couple years ago, but I found, as one does on my farm, because you never know what you find, right, on an old
Yeah.
farm. I found a door, and honest to God, Emily, it looks like a little hobbit door. It is like a tiny little 3-foot door. I have no idea what it would have been used for. Maybe a cupboard, I don't know, but it's kind of wide. It was about 3 feet tall, and I took bendy spring wire. Like,
Mhm.
imagine what you use on a screen door, right? What
Yeah.
pulls the
Yeah.
screen door. And I screwed it into the back of the door, and then I twisted it, and then I, like, screwed it into the other side.
Yeah.
And then on all of these tentacles, I put book paper. So it looks like these spirally things are coming out from behind the door,
Mhm.
and my whole, like, artist statement about the piece was Jack's imagination came from what he read in books, and
Yes.
it, like, prevented him from getting good sleep, and
Yeah.
so I made this piece called, Scary Dreams or something with all of these things
That's
coming
so
out.
awesome.
I'll have
That
to
is so awesome.
I'll
You
have to
gotta
link.
post a picture of it.
Yes, I will. I'll have to put that in the show notes because I haven't it's over in this building, and so I don't see it every day.
Mhm.
'Cause it's also Jack's, but he hasn't taken it yet. But it was inspired by what is the scariest animal? And,
Yeah.
a little aside, but don't you just love that about being an artist? Like,
Yes.
a seed can plant, and then you're off to the
Off you
races.
go. Yeah, off you go.
Mhm.
Yes.
Kinda like you and the flowers, like, you needed
Yeah.
some flowers, so you made the book about flowers.
Yep.
So, I
Yep.
absolutely love that. Um,
Funny.
yeah, I know, Vicky, right? Poor
Poor
Jack.
Jack.
He's 26 years old, and we're still talking about that chupacabra.
That's hilarious. Yeah. No,
So
I get that though.
so what about this one then? So, you are an artist. You are an artist in vocation, you are an artist in
Mhm.
the things that you do in your day to day. So,
Mhm.
Emily, what does that mean to you?
It is so integrated or integral to
Sure.
who I am now,
Mhm.
because before I was even picked up a paintbrush the first time or a glue stick 25 years ago, I was lucky if I could draw a
Oh,
stick figure,
same.
right?
Yes, yes.
And I had somebody tell me one time I had drawn something on like a placemat at a restaurant, and he was this really prolific artist. And I was, 20 years old and he was 30 something. And I thought he was old and I thought he was amazing and, all those things when you're 20. And he said, "You're really creative." And that stuck with me. And I was like, I am not creative. I don't do, blah, blah, blah. I can't draw anything. Well, then I picked up a brush and I never looked back. And so it is so integral to who I am,
Mhm.
and this and the work that I do, volunteer work that I do with animals is like in my family, those are the three things that are like
Mhm.
the pillars, I would say.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So I like the word integral because to
Mhm.
me, that word means it's woven. It is
Yes.
like it's got breadth and depth in
Yes.
like who you are and
Yep.
what you do. I think for me, like I have lots of roles, right?
Mhm.
Innkeeper, you know, business owner, crafty influencer, maker, right? But
Yep.
of mom, sorry guys,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that one
that's
too.
first. That's
Yeah.
first. I'm sorry. Partner, wife, spouse, all those things, daughter, right? But
Yep.
of all the hats, the one that I wear, no matter what other role I'm in, is
Yep.
artist.
Yes.
So artist mom, artist wife, artist maker, artist
Yes.
business owner, like it is my permeating trait.
Yes, I love that, the way you describe that. Yeah, I love that. Yes.
Yeah, it's
Artist
everywhere.
create, artist mom, artist wife,
Mhm,
artist
mhm.
daughter. I love that.
Yep, all of that. And
Yeah.
that's where I feel the most at home, and like I said, I've
Hmm.
been crabby lately because I haven't been making, and
Hmm.
I know that about myself that my outlet, it's just like with anything, right? Like you
Yep.
don't touch your outlets and we get a little off balance and the tide and the moon and all of that, right? So,
Sure.
so is there then a profession other than the one that you're in that you've ever given thought to? Like, oh, I'd like to be this if I wasn't an artist.
Realistic one?
Sure. Well, no,
Realistic or
either.
not realistic? So one of those things that you say, gosh, I'm going to come back in my next life and I want to
Mhm,
be X.
mhm, mhm.
I would like to have the ability to sing. That
Oh,
would be something, and which is a different kind of artist, but something
sure.
that I cannot do. I
Mhm.
mean, really, even my daughter's like, you are tone deaf, and I'm like, I belt it out in the car though, I
Right.
would, yeah, being a singer would be so fun, I think. I
Still
don't know.
creative, right? But still creative. I get
Still
that.
creative, yeah, but
You know,
I don't know, other than that.
I often say welder, but then I can't because I'm really accident prone and I would hurt myself or others. So we'll put that to the side. But like something I've noticed that I do, and like you, Emily, it's still creative.
Yeah.
I am transfixed by dance and shuffle videos.
Yes.
I love the whole swing dance and
Yes.
the shuffle and like all the things. And even though I'm clumsy, I'm actually a pretty good dancer. So
That's good.
in the next life, and even like as I watch those shuffle videos, there's a part of me that's like,
Hmm.
it's never too late to try.
No, you could try.
Right? I would like to
Yeah.
try and
Yeah, you
just
should.
see, right? I don't know that I want anyone to bear witness to this, but
Yeah,
I
exactly.
still would like to try, just
Yeah.
to see,
Yeah.
just to see. Okay, last
How
question, last
funny.
question.
Okay.
All right. So, of all the things,
Hmm.
what brings you the most happiness?
Probably a day that incorporates my family and no drama that day, right? Just happily going
Right,
along.
right.
Create a creative project,
Mhm.
painting, collaging, something like that, and then going out and volunteering for the animals.
Oh, so
That kind of whole thing.
it's all of
Um,
your pillars, right?
yeah,
Going
yeah.
to, oh,
Yeah, that would
beautiful.
be that's a perfect day. Those are days where I go, "Oh, wow, today was a good day,"
Mhm.
And work. I mean, I do love to work. That is also an affliction that I have, is that I worked for startups for years, tech
Mhm.
startups, and that entrepreneurial thing is just ingrained in me. So I love that too. So,
It's that entrepreneurial spirit is a blessing and a curse, isn't it? Because
yes,
we
yes,
can think of a million uses for a paperclip, and then
yes,
we can think of a million uses for a paperclip and need to turn
yep,
it into an enterprise. So yeah, I
yes,
I totally relate to that
yep,
most definitely. It doesn't surprise me at all that your happiest day is related to the things that are the most important to you. And I think
yep.
that's absolutely beautiful. And it's such a great little bookend for us
Mhm.
because I mean, you said that so well, so well.
Thank
It's
you.
a great reminder to
Thank you.
all of us to like find our happiness where we are the most passionate, which that aligns and makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
So, Emilee, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Just can't tell you how much my friends and followers and they love what you're doing. And
Thank you.
congratulations. Like really,
Thank
it's
you.
quite an impressive body of work from 2023 until this moment. So
Thank you so much.
we are all rooting for you.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. Well,
1000%.
I'm rooting for everybody to be creative and true to their creativity. So,
Oh, well, thank
yeah.
you. Well, thank you
Thank
for
you.
being here and everyone
Thank you.
listening. I hope you will join me next time. I know I say it every time. I'm always excited about my guest, but my guest on March. Well, actually, I got another one in the middle. So let me tell you. So March 5th is Nicole Labonte. She is an artist who does all kinds of things. Like she does she does pottery. She
Mm.
draws, she paints, she does hats, she does yoga mats, she does stickers. Like she
Wow.
is very prolific. Her company is called Wild Slice, and she's got this really strong, fun nature vibe. You should check out her stickers, like so amazing. She even did a portrait of me. Oh my gosh, oh wait, where is it? I have to show you. Hold on. So
Okay.
she had a product a few years ago where she was doing portraits, and we did one, and she did this for my husband, and I actually have a copy of it right here.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I
Look at
know.
that.
Look at how she did me. So
Oh,
it's
it's beautiful.
right. It was like you sent her a picture and then she like did all of her cool elements with it. So Nicole will be with me on the 5th. And then we have another little sneaky one coming in next week. Next week, Natalie Lou from the Reflective Collective will be with me. And we are going to be talking about the specifics of her retreat for healthcare folks coming up at Big Raven Farm. So I've got one in between, Natalie next week, and then Nicole the week after. So lots of fun things coming up. So, all
Wonderful.
right. Well, thank you,
Thank you.
Emilee. Thank you again for
Thank
being
you.
here. And for all of you listening, you guys are all amazing. And I think we'll leave it with this. Love your books, Emilee.
Thank you. Thank
All
you so
right.
much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Have a great week ahead, everybody. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye-bye.